All right, here I am looking at the final ray trace version of the camera again. I'm going to zoom in on that lens element and notice this black frame that contains the glass and the other inner portions of the lens element. You can see how it's covering up the inner bevel that's associated with this inner ring of the telephoto lens. So inside of Photoshop, you have independent control over the front bevel and the back bevel that's associated with an extruded object created in Repoussé, but you do not have independent control over the outer bevel and inner bevel. And so what I've done is I've gone ahead and covered up that inner bevel. And let me show you how that works. I'm going to switch to my image in progress, which I've called HoloLensElement.psd. And I'm going to scroll up the list here inside the Layers panel and click on the frame item right there and turn it on as well. And let's go ahead and extrude it. Notice that we have a rounded rectangle that's cutting a hole in the circle. So I'll go up to the 3D menu, choose Repoussé, and choose Layer Mask. And then inside the Repoussé dialog box, I'm going to go ahead and change the type from inactive to hole so that we're cutting a hole inside that object. The depth for this effect should be 0 because we don't want any extrusion whatsoever. We're going to do everything using the bevel options. Change the height value to 5 and the width value to 6. And that's it. We're not going to rotate the object in 3D space. We're not going to apply any materials either. Just go ahead and click OK. Now go ahead and scroll to the bottom of the Layers panel and Control-click or Command-click on the camera layer. That is in an empty portion of the layer, not directly on the thumbnail itself. Otherwise, you'll generate a selection outline. So what we want to have selected, by the way, are the camera layer and the frame layer. So just those two layers. Then go up to the 3D menu and choose Merge 3D Layers to merge them into a single scene. That frame is going to disappear in back of the camera, as you see. Let's go ahead and rotate things so we can better see what we're doing. So switch to the camera rotate tool, and I'm going to drag up and to the right like so that we have this sort of down view of the camera. And then I'll go ahead and scroll to the bottom of the list here inside the Layers panel. Double-click on the thumbnail to bring up the 3D scene panel. Let's click on this icon that lets us filter by meshes. Click on the frame mesh to select it independently. Switch to one of the mesh tools, third tool in the list, on the left side of the 3D panel. And then we want to go ahead and zero things out up here in the options bar by clicking on that house icon. And that goes ahead and changes all the position and orientation values to 0. All right, using the 3D widget, drag on the little green arrow to the left in order to bring that little frame element out like so. And we want to move it to right about there so it covers up the inner bevel of that Tele-In item right there, the Tele-In mesh. That is the inside edge of the telephoto lens. And I'm looking for a Y value of -296. Actually seems to work pretty well. So go ahead and change that Y value accordingly. Once again, -296, that's it. And then switch back to your 3D camera tool. And up here in the options bar, change view back to camera cam or whatever you called your camera setting. All right, now let's go ahead and finesse a few material settings. I'm going to click on Tele-Out. Now, I forgot in the previous exercise to assign any materials to the telephoto elements whatsoever. So both Tele-Out and Tele-In need materials assigned to them. So click on the Tele-Out mesh, and then drop down to the Repoussé icon right there, the little R. Click on it. That'll bring up the Repoussé dialog box. And this is the easiest way to assign materials to all 5 faces at once. Go ahead and click on the down pointing arrowhead next to All. And then click on this guy right there, the material I've created for you called Titanium Brushed, in order to assign materials to all 5 of those faces where they exist. And then click the OK button here inside the Repoussé dialog box. Go ahead and switch back to the camera layer if necessary. Then click on Tele-In here inside the 3D panel and repeat that process. Click on the R icon once again to bring up the Repoussé dialog box. Then click on the down pointing arrowhead next to All and select Titanium Brushed once again. And then, once you've done that, go ahead and click on OK in order to apply that modification. All right, just 3 more materials that we need to modify here. And to do so, you're going to have to switch back to the full scene. So click on Filter by Whole Scene, that first icon at the top of the 3D panel. And you control close rear and face for now because we don't need to look at them. What we're looking to change is the front bevel materials associated with Ring, Tele-Out, and Tele-In. So click for starters here, Ring Front Bevel Material in the list. That's the second material in the list of ring materials. And then drop down to this little sphere icon, click the down pointing arrowhead, and change this guy to Titanium Smooth, which will be located someplace at the bottom of the list. And now we need to repeat that process for the other bevels. So go ahead and press the Enter key to hide that list of materials. We now, by the way, have a smooth titanium finish going on this large area of this outer ring here. And we need to do the same thing for these slim bevels that are associated with the telephoto elements of the lens. So go ahead and twirl close ring. And then inside Tele-Out, click on the second material, which will be Tele-Out front bevel material. Click the down pointing arrowhead next to the sphere. And again, click on Titanium Smooth to apply it. Press the Enter key or Return key to hide that list. Twirl close Tele-Out. Drop down inside of Tele-In to the second material, which will be Tele-In front bevel material. Click the down pointing arrowhead next to the sphere and click on Titanium Smooth and press the Enter key or the Return key on the Mac in order to apply that modification. Now, things aren't going to look all that different, but it's going to make a big difference in our final composition. All right, so that's the camera so far. In the next exercise, we're going to house the entire scene in a spherical panorama.